It started as just another morning jog along the quiet riverside, mist hanging low, the air cool enough to sting my lungs a little. I wasn't looking for anything that day. Not love. Not healing. Just a way to feel alive again after months of moving through life like a ghost. But fate has a way of showing up when you least expect it, sometimes wearing running shoes and a smile that feels like sunrise. She was already there when I arrived, a woman in her late 30s maybe, tying her shoelaces by the bench. I'd seen her before on the same trail a few times, always ahead of me, always graceful. That morning, she looked up, caught my gaze, and said, "You always run alone, don't you?" I smiled awkwardly. "Yeah, I guess I do." She tilted her head and said softly, "Not today, then." We started running together, matching pace without words. She was light on her feet, her breath steady, her laugh quick to rise whenever I made some awkward attempt at humor. There was something magnetic about her, not just her beauty, but the way she seemed to carry both sadness and strength in her eyes. After a few minutes, she pointed toward the water. "You know," she said, "it's strange how peaceful this place feels, even when your mind isn't." That sentence stuck with me. It felt like she wasn't just talking about herself, maybe she was talking to both of us. As weeks passed, we kept running together every morning at 6. It became routine. Some mornings we talked, others, silence was enough. I learned her name was Claire. She was a former dancer turned physical therapist, someone who once moved to music but now helped others move again. She told me about her late husband, how he'd loved this same riverside trail, how running here made her feel closer to him. I didn't say much about my own past. Just that I was a single dad, raising a teenage daughter who barely spoke to me these days, that I'd lost a part of myself when my wife walked away 3 years ago. Claire didn't pity me, she just listened, and somehow that made me feel lighter. Then one morning, she didn't show up. I waited by the bench until the sky turned gold. When she finally appeared 2 days later, she looked pale, her usual energy dimmed. "Rough week," she murmured. "Sometimes my body reminds me I'm not as strong as I pretend to be." She didn't elaborate, and I didn't push. But I noticed the way she held her side, the faint tremor in her hands. We slowed our pace that day. When we stopped by the old oak near the bend, she leaned against it, catching her breath. I handed her my water bottle, and she smiled weakly. "You ever think about why you keep running?" she asked. I shrugged. "Because stopping hurts more." She looked at me, then really looked, and said, "Exactly." After that, our runs became less about fitness and more about life. We shared everything: regrets, fears, small victories. She told me she was fighting something, a chronic illness that came and went in waves, something she didn't let define her. "Running," she said once, "makes me forget I'm sick. It reminds me there's still life in me worth feeling." One morning, the sky was streaked with pink and gold when she stumbled mid-step. I caught her before she hit the ground. She laughed breathlessly, embarrassed, her face inches from mine. "Guess I overdid it," she whispered. I helped her sit on the grass. She was trembling, tears in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she murmured, "I didn't want you to see me like this." I held her hand. "You don't have to apologize for being human," I said. She smiled faintly and looked at me, the kind of look that sinks deep into your chest. And then, in that quiet moment, she whispered, "You make me feel alive again." Time seemed to stop. The river murmured beside us, the world fading to just her voice, her warmth. For the first time since my own heart had broken, I felt something stir, not pity, not obligation, but hope. From then on, I wasn't running for myself anymore. I ran for her, for the mornings she couldn't make it, for the strength she showed even when her body failed her. And on the days we ran together, we didn't chase distance, we chased moments, laughter, the pulse of life that still beat inside both of us. Weeks turned into months. Claire's illness worsened, but she never stopped showing up, even if it meant walking instead of running. One day, as we watched the sun rise over the river, she turned to me and said, "Promise me something, don't stop running, even when I can't." I swallowed hard, nodded, and said, "Only if you promise to keep fighting." She smiled and reached for my hand. Deal. The day she couldn't come anymore, I ran alone past the oak, past the bench, past every memory we'd made. The world felt heavier, quieter, but I kept going. Because every step, every breath, carried her voice, "You make me feel alive again." Months later, I found a letter she'd left with the nurse at her clinic. Inside it, written in her neat, slanted handwriting, were the words, "You didn't just make me feel alive again, you reminded me that love doesn't always mean forever. Sometimes it just means right now. Thank you for running with me. I still run that same trail every morning. Sometimes I swear I can hear her laugh in the wind, see her shadow beside me when the sun rises. And though she's gone, I'm no longer running to escape the past. I'm running toward the life she helped me find again, one step, one breath, one heartbeat at a time, because sometimes, what starts as just exercise can become the thing that saves you, and someone else too."